I shine like the sun above the rhetoric. You better get ready, son. I got these basketball Jones like Eddie, representing the West like Jerry at the forum. Yeah, Shaq and Duncan, just ass chicken stew. Aw shit, chicken stew, that's the flavor like pizza fucked it. I'll stop conducting more watts than amps and watts. No chance you lost your dignity from this indigenous MC. I'm never crossing over, but I shall proceed.
Alright, welcome back to Breaking the Sound Barrier. This is Robbie De Niro.
I'm Robert De Niro. Okay, you don't have to introduce me. I'm just kidding.
AKA the Chief Rocket, and I am your co-host. Damn.
Sorry.
Fashion killer. Damn. I didn't mean to take your thunder like that.
Yeah, it does steal my thunder, please.
My fault. Well, welcome back. Well, I do want to say we're proud to announce that we found him.
Who did we find?
You're not going to believe this one, Chief.
Don't tell me. No.
Found him.
Where?
You're not going to believe.
Cuba?
I mean, that's what they thought. Florida, actually.
No.
Yeah.
Rick Ross?
Rick Ross. He's been living in Rick Ross. This is one place. That's the one place you at least suspect Tupac, right?
I know. He was a parole officer in the past.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
Rick Ross is keeping him behind bars in this mention.
He's keeping him safe.
Oh.
From the society. Because obviously 2020, we don't know how to act. I'm going to announce what today's episode is going to be about.
Yeah, so on this episode of Breaking the Sound Barrier, we're going to be talking about a couple things that we like to do. Like, we like to play video games, so we want to talk about the music behind the video games. And we're not talking about, the background music that we play. Like, we're playing Tupac while we're playing Call of Duty. No, we're talking about the actual
You'd be surprised.
in-game music.
Hit him up. On your Call of Duty, hit him up. RP, sorry other players out there, but I'm gonna get you.
Watch out for this guy. Don't look. If you see Paul the Mamba on Call of Duty, yeah, you better run. If he's running towards you, just run the other way.
Just believe that. I mean, that's your best hope.
No, but I got a couple compliments on Call of Duty for playing some Tupac in the background.
Really?
Like, oh yeah, like, hey, that's good. But then I also got the, hey, can you turn off the music?
You're one of those guys, huh?
I was one of those guys. I didn't play listening to the footsteps. I played for the fun of it. No. Yeah, but yeah, today's episode we're just gonna talk about actual in-game soundtracks. There's a whole mess of games that we could have talked about. But there's just 4 games that we really want to talk about that really influenced us. And
if you didn't play these games, I'm sorry that you were not cultured.
No, there's a lot of culture out there. Okay,
you
did not have to play it. Okay,
there's still plenty of time. Big part.
You did miss out on a lot if you didn't play these games. Unfortunately,
for sure, iconic, at least in our eyes, and I think the mass gamer community maybe would agree, depending on your preferences. And people have a lot of preferences, a lot of opinions now, so we'll see.
We don't want to step on anybody's toes. Exactly. We're not gonna say like our music's better than yours or anything, but I mean, no, I'm just kidding. So I guess the way that we just thought about this podcast was, or like this episode was, the music behind these games were just really influential in what we started listening into the future. But we also wanted to talk about how impactful it is to the gameplay, how impactful or like how thoughtful they were when they incorporated this music into the game, and how music can really influence like gameplay and a story as well. So, and I think that's a good segue into like what you want to talk about, which is how GTA, this guy right here.
Yeah, GTA is one of the GTA San Andreas, but first I think I want to bring up is NBA Street Volume 2.
Oh, okay.
But no, those are 2 games I for sure I'm going to talk about today. Do you want to mention your games?
I'm going to talk about Tony Hawk and then the Beatles Rock Band. Those 2 are my 2 more influential, or like the 2 that I could think about more when it comes to music. Yeah, and so I guess to start off with like the story, or like how it impacts like the story of the game, we can go into like your story about
first GTA. Of all, Well, yeah, when we talk about NBA Street.
Oh, my bad. Then we'll talk about NBA Street Volume 2.
Wait, no, NBA Street Volume 2, I think that was one of the first games I got on the PS2. I mean, I have a lot of games that I got on the PS2. Definitely fortunate and grateful to have that opportunity, but this is one of the games that really stood out when I was playing. Like I said, you know, there was a lot of kind of old school hip hop. You know, when I think about, you know, when I think about NBA Street or, you know, street ball, I think about these songs for sure. And it's just like, it added to the atmosphere of the game, I would say. And then, you know, like I said, it came out in 2003, and there's different songs like, you know, Nelly, Not in My House. Of course, I'm not going to get into that, but Get Up. No, but that's a fire song, but.
By who?
Nelly.
Oh, by Nelly? Oh, the one that you just played.
You know Nelly.
Yeah, I know Nelly.
Get Up by Nate Dogg. It's, yeah. Oh, I was playing earlier.
Yeah.
Not in my house, you may catch me on the road. Not in my house.
Oh.
Yeah, see, it's fire. See? I'm all right. See, it's catchy. Get Up by Nate Dogg. React by Eric Sermon and Redman. But I think songs that really stood out to me is Live on Stage by Dilated Peoples. One of the first hip hop groups I started to really I actually followed them on Facebook, and they followed me. I'm not sure if that was the real account, but
wow.
I mean, not Facebook, MySpace.
Oh, for real?
But it could have been.
How was that?
It could have been a catfish.
Did you feel like you were like a celebrity that day?
I thought it was cool. I was honestly not. I mean, I was not like overwhelmed. I was like, oh, cool. Like my dad was like, I mean, I created my MySpace, and like, I don't know, it was a weird. I don't know how that came to be, to be honest, but yeah. They were on my top 5.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That just reminds me. What's his name? Lil B, bass guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he follows my girlfriend. I was just like, what?
Damn.
I'm like, Lil B.
No. Hey, you can't listen to bass guy.
I know. I can't. But anyway.
But there's other songs too, like They Were In This Over You, Troy by P Rock, and See How Smooth. That was really like that song, just the instrumental, and like you play that, that's wow, it's just so, and it just means so much more. I can get that to in more detail. And The Choice Is Yours by Black Sheep and Chief Rocket by The Lords of the Underground are definitely songs that, you know, were definitely stood out to me and definitely added to the game. But it's go Live on Stage, and that song was like, you know, like they're live on stage pretty much, you know, it's like, you know, expressing themselves. It's like, yeah, like they feel so confident and like in their lyrics and when they're performing. Like, definitely one lyric I want to call out is like, "You'll determine like John Walsh, John Walsh is the America's Most Wanted host."
Mm-hmm.
But then this rapper is named Evidence, but this it was like, "Evidence, say my name in out of self defense." I was like, shit, that's like mind blowing. You know, as a kid, I was like, wow, that was really clever wordplay, I'd say.
Mm.
And then actually, too, he mentions Be Real. And one time, I did go to a Laker game with my dad back in like 04, 03. And then, so during halftime, you can go to like the balcony area. I don't know how we got there. My dad was VIP. God knows what he was a smooth talker too. So, but then we're chilling in the balcony area, and then he introduced me to this guy. He's talking to this guy. And he's like, "Hey, this is Be Real." And at the time, I was like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" I didn't, but it was like, "This is." But after that, he's like, "Do you know who that was?" It was Be Real. It was like, you know, one of the singers or one of the rappers from Cypress Hill.
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." But I know I was a kid. I was like, "That's dope." But at the same time, looking back, I was like, "Wow!" Like I shook his hand and I met him chilling, and I'm pretty sure they were, doing other festivities there. Yeah. But
that's cool.
Yeah, so that's definitely a good song. And I know the songs "They Reminisce of You," Troy, like I said, by Pete Rock, and "See How Smooth." Like I said, it was a song inspired by their close friend death of Troy Dixon, known as Trouble T. So it's definitely like I said, prior to everything that has happened. I mean, the beat and just like their voice, definitely just. I love the whole flow and the whole song, but there's definitely a lyric that just when I date back, I recall a man off the family tree, my right hand Papa Doc. I think he's referencing C.L. Smooth's grandfather. That it took me from a boy to a man, so I always had a father when my biological didn't bother. So I don't want to get, but that's like lyric there. Sorry, was really emotional because my dad wasn't my biological father, and he was he raised me to a man, so that one like sticks out to me the most. And it's it's crazy to see how that lyric is so like impactful now. But that's always stood out to me, but now it's like it makes me like the whole
so much more to you now.
Definitely. But that song is so so great. And of course, the choice is yours by Black Sheep. Just talking about like how lyrically they're so great, and like you can choose like this whack hip hop, or you can choose us. Like how we're creative and still keeping hip hop true to itself. So that was always a good banger to play.
Yeah.
And then what was the song did I mention?
I just want to say, Paul, you kept it composed, even though that was a very emotional thing for you. I just thought that was very strong of you, and I'm glad that you got to share that with us. Just kudos to you, man.
Appreciate that, G.
Hey,
Thugs cry. Hey, Thugs cry, right?
Yeah, Thugs cry. So I don't want to see nobody judging my boy right here. Okay.
You don't know me. Not yet.
But yeah.
You will know me from this podcast, though. Subscribe and like.
I think one thing I wanted to mention was that I think what I loved about NBA Street Volume 2 was that it was all about the music. Like even the main menu, it had like the scratching of the vinyl record, and like you had that every time you pressed the button, and then it was all about the music, and I think they knew that. And that's why it was like a big emphasis, and that's why they got all these like great artists, and they're all basketball songs, like you could just play basketball to them.
Oh yeah, the instrumental with the lyrics too. Even what was it, Papito Garcia, the announcer, famous in the hip hop community, especially in New York, definitely announces a lot of street ball out there. But just as a commentary too, with the beat in the background, it's like nostalgia, and it's like one of those like block party, bring your kids, bring the hot dog buns. It's like. It's just like his like commentary and his like his wittiness, and like he's talking crap sometimes, but it's just hilarious that it adds on to the whole atmosphere, the whole kind of you're playing on New York courts, or like historical courts around the United States. But yeah, it's everything, the detail that they put into the game. I'm sorry, NBA 2K, NBA Live, don't at me, but I think that was one of the greatest basketball games ever created. So.
Yeah, without a doubt, that's my favorite like NBA game.
To this day.
I think that's the only game because I get whooped at 2K by this guy.
I did careers too. Sorry, NBA, Call of Duty. I'm sorry, I got your card.
Paul beat me.
At me.
Paul beat me 100
Add me
to 20, I think, one time at 2K.
And that's mercy. That's 20 points of mercy. That's when we call it quits. Because after that, I'm sorry, kid. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be pretty.
Yeah, that was.
Well, you got me on FIFA
I never
sometimes.
played it.
You got me FIFA sometimes.
I know. I always have you at FIFA.
Whoa! No, always. Whoa, it's relax here. We're running right now after this podcast. We're gonna run that back.
I'm playing right now. We'll have the audience watching.
Let's go right now.
We'll have the audience watching debate. Who's the better player then, huh?
No, we'll finish the podcast first.
Okay,
let's get into your game.
Let's get back into it. Okay, let me cool down. I'm a little heated right now. I'm a little angry right now. So now, I want to talk about Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. They just recently remastered it. They made it for like the PS4, PS5, because it's a classic. And I think people think it's a classic not because of, the gameplay was like so fun. It was really like an adrenaline rush, like trying to get the highest score that you can. But I think what made the game so great was their soundtrack, and I think that's why the majority of people came back when the newest game came out too. And I think the soundtrack is so good because it feels like you're watching like a skate video. It's just a lot of punk music, a lot of metal. They have some rap music. It's all underground, and I think it just really goes along with that adrenaline rush. Like you're flying 50 feet in the air. You're doing like freaking a mile of like riding down a slide somehow. Like, and then you like hit your face like
but you get back up
at 100 miles per hour. Yeah, and you get back up. Which is very impressive. I don't know how you do it in that game. That's why I like Skate, because Skate is like way more like realistic in that aspect. They do like the whole gruesome and the meat cam. But anyway, and in Tony Hawk, you have like that huge adrenaline rush, and I think the music just really worked really well with that. It was incorporated into the game, I think, very meaningfully. And there's like songs that I truly love from that soundtrack, like Psychovision by Suicidal Tendencies, When Worlds Collide, and then I think one of the song that like kind of epitomizes like the rest of the soundtrack in this game is the Anthrax Public Enemy mashup where they did Bring the Noise, but it's like a remix, like a metal remix, and it's just that hard, gritty, like hard edge music that pumps you while you're like trying to get that high score right. And I guess the song that I wanted to highlight and like show some lyrics is Superman. It's like the unofficial, like by, I think it's Goldfinger. Superman, it's a song about like trying to like keep your pipe dreams alive and trying to stay youthful. And like some of the lyrics here is, I'll be sure to watch time fly, to watch it fly. So here I am, growing older all the time, looking older all the time, but feeling younger in my mind. Here I am, doing everything I can, holding on to what I am, pretending I'm Superman. And I think those lyrics just, I think it works with the game in so many different ways, because Superman, like you're flying super high in this game, like you're doing some crazy tricks. You're like, you fly over a helicopter, you make the helicopter fly away in one warehouse. Like you're doing all these crazy things, but I think it kind of resonates with skaters. It's, as you get older, you might not want to be skating as much. Like you can mess yourself up. It's a very youthful thing. And what he says, like looking older all the time, but feeling younger in my mind. I think it's just like the perfect song for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and I love that song because it's super catchy too. And I feel like all the songs in this in the game deserve a listen to. So I definitely implore you guys to check out the rest of the soundtrack because it's super fun, lots of adrenaline, and if you need that like motivation to get back up, I think these songs are really good at like displaying that theme. So yeah, that's Tony Hawk for you.
No,
Yeah, you have anything to say about that? Or like anything to add? You got anything against that? No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, I got a little aggressive.
No, I definitely agree with you. I think these songs are definitely motivational. Definitely pump you up songs that definitely will kind of pick you up when you need that extra kind of push. And definitely agree that this game is like, it's very simple. Like you're doing, I mean, not simple tricks, obviously, but at the same time, it's, no, not simple tricks, but at the same time, it is like the whole premise of it, you're pretty much just skating around, but at the same time, the soundtrack does add a whole nother level to the game where it keeps you coming back, not only for the gameplay, but like, it definitely, I think it's kind of an escape where like, yeah, I'm gonna play Tony Hawk, but I think it adds on to the music too, that what brings people back and why it's so, why they made a remaster not too long ago, when it came out, 2-3 months ago now?
Yeah, that's what made it so iconic. I think the music more than anything. And they kept on doing that throughout the years, but those two first games, classic. Those are my two first games with Tony Hawk. I didn't play that much after that one, but yeah, love those two games.
Right on.
Yeah, you want to go into your next?
So we're gonna go to the next game, which is for me would be GTA San Andreas Classic. Iconic. If you haven't played it.
Classic.
Iconic.
What else does DJ Khaled say?
Special. Another one.
Another one.
No, seriously, Rockstar, where's GTA 6? Come on, it's been 10 years, right? Am I wrong?
Has it? It's been 10 years?
Since GTA 5, right? It's always been like 8 years, since 2012.
Wow.
Breaking my heart.
You can't take these games away from us.
I got a PC, I'm ready. Bring it on. But yeah, GTA 5 was definitely an iconic game. First of all, the story, my boy, CJ, Carl Johnson. Let me say that again. CJ, Carl Johnson. No, but definitely one of the favorite role player or RPG games, but just the story, like I respect playing Carl.
Yeah. Shout out to our boy Carl in the Navy.
Shut up. To the boy Carl. But yeah, definitely a great, story, I would say. I mean, it's GTA, of course, it's going to be very violent, so, I don't endorse any of that activity, but
yeah, we don't like that. We do not endorse that at all, guys.
But if it's in VR. No, but definitely a great game. But specifically, I want to add, like, I think the radio stations and the detail they add on to the mechanics in the radio stations as you progress, I think each station has specific hosts, and that they all have their personalities in the one radio station or two. First of all, I think it's the Radio Los Santos, hosted by my boy Julio G. Was the host of that. It takes place, 1992, I think. But like, he plays a great, kind of advocate for peace in the neighborhood, and just like, no, it's not all about, kind of, doing violent things and getting your point across. So it's kind of that contrast. I think he's one of the only characters that's advocating for that in the game. But
I think the game it's a very gray game. It's not like black and white where there's good guys and bad guys. Everybody's like, okay, they have their like moments,
50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, it's 50 Shades of Grey. Okay, it gets really weird right now between us.
Whoa!
I'm just kidding. Anyway, continue. Hurry. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, definitely iconic station. Of course, like I said, as you progress in the game, like they present new songs, like they're releasing like I said, it took place in 1992. So like they release all new songs by Snoop Dogg, and of course they have songs like with Tupac, Compton, Most Wanted, Nothing But Gene Thieves, Dre, Snoop Dogg, iconic song. Too Short, The Ghetto, which is I think plays really into that kind of scenery too. La Raza by Kid Frost. That's that. How Could I Just Kill a Man by Cypress Hill? Obviously relatable in that game. I don't have to say anything on that one. But one's like It's Funky by The Doc or DLC, and that's honestly when I first heard of the DLC, and I thought like, damn, it's unfortunate the story behind him, how he lost his voice in a car accident because he was just don't do drugs.
He's a prodigy.
Yeah, but at the same time he had his bright future, and his voice was, I think, really could have been iconic. I mean, it was iconic, of course, but short lived. And of course, Express Yourself by NWA, It Was a Good Day by Ice Cube, Murder Rap, I'd say that's relatable. Grilled in the Mist by the Lynch Mob, I think that was another kind of iconic song too, where it's like, damn, this is kind of funky, but it's like, Ice Cube with his lyrics and how he delivers his flow, it's like yeah, while you're driving down, yeah, exactly. But of course, Radio X was another good, it was like more of the rock station, I'd say, hosted by this young girl, Sage at the time, where it takes place. And of course, they have introduced me to Danzig Mother.
Oh, I love that song.
That was, I just want to go off,
And go on a rampage, fly in a helicopter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just destroying LA.
Oh. But of course, they have, Jane's Addiction. I think that's another good artist they added. And Rage Against the Machine, Killing the Name Of. Oh, another good, just, like, let's do it. And then you give me the Chicos, I'm going off. But I think there was another song too was what's his name, Billy Idol, White Wedding.
Oh, they had that song in the game, dude.
That was I Love Cruising in the Desert. That song, I don't know, it's just
going to Vegas for a wedding.
Lost on Tuners, bro. Lost on Tuners. Come on, we're gonna get copyrighted.
Didn't they have like an Area 51 in the game too?
Yeah, it's like.
Right?
Yeah, it's like
on the way to Vegas?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just throwing that out.
No, you fly over, you get shot. Like,
right.
But we got the cheat codes. We infiltrated.
Yeah.
We have the answers, so subscribe and like if you want what's inside. Alright, do you want to go into your game?
Yeah, all I have to say is
GTA
San Andreas.
GTA
San Andreas. That was the first GTA. Oh no, probably the second, because I did play Vice City. My uncle was letting me play that game when I was a little kid. Okay.
Yeah.
Wrong.
I don't know how
wrong.
I got my hands on the copy.
I don't know how I got to play San Andreas, but thank God I did, because I got introduced to a lot of good music, and it was just a fun experience. And seeing your city like in a video game is pretty exciting all the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's all I could really say about GTA. And I guess the game I want to just like go into, or my last game, is the Beatles Rock Band. I know, crazy transition, huh? So we go from like rap, like hard rock, like talking about violence, and now we're going into the Beatles.
Well, the Beatles were the founders from of different genres like that. So
for many things, I should say. They're the founders, but they did copy from Little Richard. Okay, so we can't say that they started everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so but I want to go into the Beatles Rock Band because I thought it was very innovative in how they wanted to focus on what made the Beatles so great. they focused on their story, they focused on the mechanics of their song, or like the technicalities of their song and what made them so famous. So one thing that they brought into the Rock Band for the first time was the harmony aspect of the vocals. So instead of just having one person sing in the game, you can have backup singers as well. And that's what made the Beatles so good. It's not only John and it's not only Paul, but it's like everybody joining in together to sing and harmonize. And that's what made the Beatles so good. And what else I love about this game is just the visuals that they had. So you start from like the small clubs, like where they started, the more like punk songs that they started, and then they go into their more pop, and then the psychedelic, and they go through each stage. They go from when they started touring, and then when they stopped touring, when they were just in the studio, and then to how they finished their career.
They went.
John Lennon just like with like no, it was not like that in the game. Like, you should just play the game. Just ready to spit bars like in front. Hey, Bulldog.
Yeah, Ringo.
Doing ad-libs in the back. No, maybe they should have ad-libs for the next like rock band that they make. That would, like, if you get it right on time, it's like extra points. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Just
That's a good idea. I don't know.
I mean, I'm gonna copyright that right now. No, just kidding. But what I was like saying just earlier was like the visuals. Is like they brought out like things from their movies, like the Sgt. Pepper movie that they had, and they just brought out their persona a lot. Like, they're all about love and like peace and love and like starting a revolution, you know, those kind of songs. And so like they kind of really defined the visuals, or like that's what they represented in the game, through like all the beautiful colors that they had, like the great sceneries that they had, and then always showing them in the studio to just like bring them back to like who they really were. And I just love the game so much. And I mean, there's so many different songs I could talk about. The one song I wish that was on there, since we're talking about like harmonizing, is Because. You know the song Because on Abbey Road?
Possibly.
No, well, anyway. I'm pretty sure you heard it. But I feel like that would have been like the perfect game, or like a song to have if you were like really focused on vocals and harmonizing, because that's like their number one song, or at least in my opinion, like for harmonizing. And I guess just a song that's from the game that I want to just give a shout out to is I Got a Feeling. I think it's a great song. I think it's very inspirational.
I'm singing in my head right now. I got a feeling. Feeling that
Deep inside.
Oh, deep inside.
Oh,
no.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Butchered.
On
Straight up
me.
butchered. John Lennon.
Remix.
And I just wanted to bring these lyrics. I mean, this wasn't the best year, but the lyrics are: everybody had a good year, everybody let their hair down, everybody pulled their socks up, everybody put their foot down. Oh yeah. And I guess I just want to bring that song out because I want to just, you know, end off the year in a good way. And even though it was a really tough year, hopefully everybody, you know, make the most of it. And I hope you guys did too. And yeah, that's my song or soundtrack that I wanted to talk about.
No, very beautiful game. Very, the visuals they added to the, I mean, I got it for the Wii. That's how long ago it came out.
Same.
But still, it was still a phenomenal game. They had, you know, maybe not the whole albums that you would want it, but a lot of great songs that they did incorporate into the game, and the visuals on certain songs, and how, you know, everything, the detail, and how, you know, they were, you know, dressed and how they performed, and like you know, beards and stuff like that. I think they were really on point with that kind of historical aspect. But there's one song that I wish, I mean, I think it's not a Beatles song. I think it's more of a Paul McCartney song when he went solo. It's Maybe I'm Amazed. And that's just like, of course, I think it's more piano, but like, I think that they added that, someone incorporated that into the game. I think that would have been a great song to add. And
yeah, maybe if they incorporated solo careers too. Yeah.
So I think that's one song that I would want to add right away on site.
Yeah, and then what about Watching the Wheels by John Lennon?
I'm just sitting here watching the wheels go round and round.
I love that song. I love that song so much.
That's a beautiful song.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why I love that game so much. Yeah, and I guess that's the end of this episode.
It's a wrap.
Anything you want to talk about?
Well, definitely, I think we're gonna go more do an episode solely on the Beatles because I think we talk about very high level, or we're going into detail, but there's just so many songs and different each year. I mean,
it's not even about only the music. We could talk about fashion,
history, and like
hairstyle,
eyebrows, if they were on fleek or not.
First people to say on fleek. You just didn't know. If you played the song backwards, you would hear him say fleek. But yeah, that's it for me.
That's it for me.
All right. See you guys later.